I never imagined that a single exchange of words could shatter my marriage, yet it unraveled faster than I could ever have expected. One slip of the tongue, spoken in a haze of doubt and fear, changed the course of everything. "I don't see a future with you." That was all it took. His expression drained of color, his gaze fell to the floor, and in that heavy silence, something inside us broke in a way that could never be repaired. If you've ever said something you wished you could take back, you'll understand the weight of this. And perhaps, hearing my story, you'll think twice before letting fear dictate your words. It hadn't started as an argument. We were just sitting together on the couch, casually talking about where life might take us in 5 years. He asked, almost offhand, if I pictured us still living in the same city, in the same apartment. Without stopping to think, I blurted it out. I told him I couldn't imagine a future for the two of us. The instant the words left my lips, I wanted to claw them back, swallow them, erase them. But it was too late. His eyes shifted, sharp with confusion, searching for an explanation that might soften the blow. "I don't understand," he whispered, his voice trembling enough to twist my stomach into knots. I scrambled to explain. I told him it wasn't about love, that I still cared for him deeply. It was about uncertainty, about feeling stuck, about wondering whether our paths truly aligned. But the more I spoke, the worse it sounded. To him, the meaning was clear. I didn't want a life with him. He rose slowly from the couch, each movement weighted, as though it carried the finality of a decision he had already made. "If you can't picture a future with me," he said, his tone low but steady, "then I can't keep pretending there is one." Panic surged through me. I reached for his hand, begging him to sit back down, to listen, to let me rephrase what I truly meant. But he pulled away, and I saw the pain in his eyes harden into something resolute. I was losing him, second by second. He disappeared into the bedroom and began packing. The sound of the zipper dragging shut was like a ticking clock, counting down the last moments of us. I stood in the doorway, tears blurring my vision, watching the man I loved fold his clothes with a calmness that terrified me. I kept talking, kept apologizing, kept swearing I hadn't meant it the way it came out, but nothing reached him. My words couldn't undo the damage. When he finished, he hoisted the bag onto his shoulder and walked past me without speaking. I trailed after him to the door, my heart hammering in my chest. "Please don't do this," I whispered, my voice breaking. He paused, his hand resting on the doorknob. For a moment, he looked back at me, his eyes heavy with sorrow. "Some things can't be unsaid," he murmured. Then he left. The silence that followed was suffocating. I stood frozen in the living room, staring at the door as if it might swing open again. It never did. That night, I lay awake in the empty bed, replaying every second of that conversation. I thought of the laughter we had shared, the plans we had made, the way he used to take my hand in public or brush the hair from my face when I cried. And I wondered how I could have destroyed all of that with one reckless sentence. Days blurred into weeks. The quiet became unbearable. I stopped checking my phone because every blank screen reminded me that his name was gone from my life. Friends tried to console me, but their sympathy only deepened the ache. Some couldn't understand why he had walked away so quickly. Others said I had been cruel. Maybe they were both right. In those weeks, I realized something important. Love isn't just in the big gestures or the beautiful memories. It's in the small, steady reassurances, the unspoken promises that you're walking the path together. And the moment I said I couldn't picture a future with him, I shattered that unspoken vow. Part of me clung to hope. I wanted to believe he'd return, that he'd recognize I had spoken from fear, not from truth. But deep down, I knew better. Words that cut that deeply don't fade. Eventually, I reached out. I sent a long message explaining everything, how lost I'd been feeling, how my doubts had more to do with myself than with him, how much I missed him, how desperately I wanted another chance. He replied the next day. The message was brief, polite, and final. "I'm sorry. I can't go back to that place." Reading those words was like watching the coffin lid close on us for good. I cried until there were no tears left, and then, for the first time, I accepted the truth. He was gone. Now, months later, I still think about that day. I think about how fragile words are, how easily they can destroy what takes years to build. I've learned to measure mine carefully. I still don't have all the answers about my future, whether I'll find love again or spend the coming years rediscovering myself. But I do know this: I will never again throw love away out of fear of what lies ahead. Sometimes I wish I could return to that moment, not to change the outcome, but to tell myself to pause, to breathe, to think about how my words might land on the heart of someone who loves me. Because once spoken, they can't be taken back. And that lesson I'll carry with me forever.